Top 10 worst royals King Charles wants you to forget about. Starting off with number 10, Meghan. This one is no surprise since this former royal caused a lot of controversy, but we're gonna break it down for you just in case you don't know exactly why Meg is so hated on. Oprah invited Meghan Markle for a shocking interview. Her husband was present for a portion of the interview, which took place after she and Prince Harry left their positions as senior royals. The couple told Oprah why they had left the royal family in the interview. Markle, like Diana, did not receive support from the royal family when she disclosed that her mental health was failing. She also felt ostracized by them. Additionally, she and Prince Harry asserted that members of the royal family had been concerned about the color of their son Archie's skin. People have shown their support for the former Duke and Duchess of Sussex ever since the interview, with a particular focus on Meghan Markle. Omid Scobie, a royal biographer, says that after only one podcast episode was released, Meghan Markle's aides were afraid of what she might say. However, new concerns have been raised regarding the Duchess of Sussex's potential speech and the royal family's impact since her in-depth cover interview with The Cut. A particular point of contention is the journal she kept while working as a royal, which she told The Cut she found when she returned to the UK for the Jubilee. Even though Meghan did not say anything else about the journal or its contents, it probably mentions her unpleasant time in England with the royals. Regarding the royals, it would appear that there is already some uncertainty regarding the existence of this journal and its potential publication. Harry and Meghan were told to ignore newspapers and social media, but sometimes Saf would say to them, "So sorry about what was written the other day," and she would hit the roof, a source who spoke with The Sun said. She kept a diary and would write down everything to protect herself. If it ever existed, it would undoubtedly be a dynamite weapon. This journal appears to have been returned to Montecito after being repackaged and discovered this summer. Margaret Holder, a royal expert and author, told the outlet the revelation that Meghan rediscovered what she was writing in her journal at Frogmore Cottage must trigger warning signals to the royal family. The Duchess had enough time in the royal fold to learn secrets, some of which were decades old, which would cause King Charles and the family embarrassment and heartache, but could earn a fortune for Meghan. Senior royals are said to be continuing with their duties and are not publicly reacting to their docuseries. After using the show to criticize Meghan's father, Thomas Markle, for making deals with photographers, Harry has also come under fire for being accused of being dishonest. Netflix was informed by the shameless prince, amazing things can happen when a lot of money is offered to people. It is said that he and Meghan were paid £80 million to talk about their personal lives on the show. After making at least 17 errors during their Oprah Winfrey interview, the couple has a history of struggling to tell the truth. Even though she had denied the claims for years, Meghan had to apologize to the High Court for forgetting she had briefed the authors of Finding Freedom. Their spokesperson claimed that Megxit was never about privacy, which caused a stir. The New York Times quoted Ashley Hansen as saying their statement announcing their decision to step back makes no mention of privacy and reaffirms their desire to continue their public roles and responsibilities. Any suggestion to the contrary refers to a crucial aspect of this series. While the tabloid media has constructed an entirely false narrative that permeates media coverage and public opinion, they have made the decision to share their story on their terms. They have the facts at their fingertips. The Sussexes are portraying themselves as a couple abandoned by the royal family, despite the fact that so much was done to make them happy, according to sources close to Kate and Will. Additionally, Harry will explain why they left royal life for the US, saying, "At this point there was no other choice, we must leave this place." Netflix asserts that they contacted the royal family for comment, but this is strongly contested. On to number 9, Andrew. When Prince Andrew was in his early 20s, he was in the same predicament as every other royal spare since the Norman invasion. Given that his brother was in excellent health, what should he do with himself? Andrew's response appeared to be straightforward. He was able to fly helicopters and chase women with glee, both with enthusiasm. Soon, the Queen's second son was dating a number of models and actors, most notably Kool Stark, in what Alan Rusbridger, who later became editor of The Guardian, dubbed his gallery of crumpet. Then there was the conflict when the naval officer served on the front lines during the Falkland Islands War. His arrival on the scene has given a new meaning to the initials HRH, wrote Andrew Morton in a nauseating essay at the time about him. They represent his royal heartthrob along with Andrew. However, following his divorce from Sarah, Duchess of York, he would become associated with numerous names, including a Playboy model, a Sports Illustrated model for 5 years, neither of whom were likely contenders for the position of Duchess of York. One of his associates told The Times in 2015 he has always been a scumbag. I've heard some unbelievable remarks. He made a comment to a woman who was pregnant and had a bigger chest that was completely inappropriate. You just think, oh yikes, like stuff from a schoolboy. While the victim's face was pale, he would roar with laughter and think it was hilarious. Number 8, Harry. The media didn't mind the scandals Prince Harry would cause because he was often referred to as a wild child by them. This included a ridiculous PR stunt in 2002 that involved a one-day stay in rehab. Additionally, he was known for drinking and having affairs. In 2012, naked photos of him were leaked, and he was found playing strip poker in Las Vegas. Although the tabloids had people blaming him, taking non-consensual naked photos of someone and publishing them seems worse than partying in Vegas. In 2004, Harry allegedly got into a physical fight with the paparazzi, which was yet another scandalous incident. We will admit that we are on his side in this situation due to the terrible nature of the paparazzi in general and their role in his mother's passing away. Number 7, Captain Mark Phillips. Princess Anne's husband was involved in his own infidelity scandal a year prior to the aforementioned Annus Horribilis, which is horrible year in Latin. Mark Phillips had a child in New Zealand with a teacher in 1985. Heather Tonkin, the teacher, reportedly told the media that she wanted Phillips to acknowledge her child after he stopped supporting her financially. This revelation, as well as the resulting public embarrassment for Princess Anne and the royal family, did not help her already troubled marriage. Number 6, Sarah Ferguson. After getting divorced from Prince Andrew, Sarah Ferguson still managed to make it into the tabloids for at least 18 years, this time for taking a kickback. Mazhar Mahmood, an undercover reporter, secretly recorded a meeting in 2010 in which he offered approximately $700,000 for access to Prince Andrew. Ferguson tells him in the recording that she will get him everything he needs. Although she offered her sincere apologies for her error, we find it hard to believe that this was the first or even the last time something like this occurred. Number 5, Princess Margaret. Princess Margaret married the man who took controversial pictures of her for a few decades after her engagement to Townsend failed. However, Anthony Armstrong Jones had multiple affairs during their turbulent marriage. When the princess had a highly publicized affair in 1976, there was much more public outcry. On the island of Mustique in the Caribbean, the princess and her lover were captured on camera by paparazzi, who are truly the worst. As the affair continued for years despite the scandal, the two were later photographed together multiple times. Princess Margaret did something that no other member of the royal family had done since 1542. 2 years after it was made public that she was having an affair with Rod Llewellyn, she had a divorce. No royal had ever discovered Henry VIII since he made it legal to marry Anne Boleyn, whom he later beheaded. Henry VIII's messy love life was so traumatic for the royal family and the rest of England. You can see how shocking this moment was at the time when this was taken into consideration. Additionally, it established a precedent for numerous subsequent royal divorces. On to number 4, Princess Michael of Kent. Princess Michael, the wife of the Queen's cousin, has been at the center of several racism scandals, but only ardent royal family adherents even know who she is. In 2017, she caused the most recent scandal by wearing a Blackmore brooch to a dinner where she was meeting Meghan Markle. The choice of the racially charged brooch was viewed as disrespectful by many. She had also been implicated in a scandal in 2004 when it was alleged that she yelled at a group of black diners in a restaurant to return to the colonies. Her argument? She had advised them to remember the colonies, believing that would be preferable. Worse yet, she attempted to conceal her racism by claiming that she once pretended to be half black, which itself became a scandal. Number 3, Philip. He was regarded as a countryman and a servant by his followers, and he represented white male privilege to others. In 2002, Philip posed the question to a group of Indigenous Australians in Australia, "Do you still strike each other with spears?" He once told a boy who was 13 that he was too fat to be an astronaut. He stated British women are incapable of cooking. When he went to China in 1986, he told a British student, "You will return home with slitty eyes if you stay much longer here." He stated to residents of the Cayman Islands, "Aren't the majority of you pirates?" Additionally, he declared when he met Nigeria's president, who was dressed in traditional garb, "You appear to be ready for bed. How many people have you knocked over on that thing this morning?" he once asked a man on a mobility scooter who was disabled. See, that right there just screams white male privilege. On to number 2, Queen Elizabeth. Obviously, King Charles may not want you to forget Queen Elizabeth, but there are certain scandals she has been involved in that none of the royals would appreciate ever having to acknowledge. Anthony Blunt was a former KGB spy and surveyor of the Queen's pictures. During World War II, he admitted to passing on secret information to the Soviets. Despite the fact that there is no evidence that he provided intelligence to the KGB while working with the royal family, the Queen made the decision to keep this information a secret after learning about it. It was assumed that this would cause public ridicule of British intelligence and palace security. When Margaret Thatcher learned about this and made a public declaration that not only exposed Blunt but also the Queen, there was still ridicule. Thatcher slammed the Queen, revealing that she had been aware of Blunt but had kept it a secret to save face. We don't usually give Thatcher props, but in this case, she was correct. The so-called Paradise Papers were leaked in 2017 and revealed that a number of well-known people owned illegal offshore investments to avoid paying taxes. Queen Elizabeth was one of them. These funds were said to be worth about $13.1 million to the Queen. It's understandable that the British, particularly anti-monarchists, were furious. Even though the Queen is not required by law to pay taxes on all of her earnings, she voluntarily does so and is expected to do so. The news certainly disappointed taxpayers. And off to number 1, Diana. After Squidgygate and Camillagate, the entire world realized the Crown Sovereign's marriage was finished. Yet it wasn't formally finished until 1995. This year, Diana gave a controversial interview in which she talked about all the terrible things she had to deal with since marrying Prince Charles. She was aware of the prince's affair with Camilla, so she felt envious and neglected. She also talked about how her family refused to help her when she developed an eating disorder. She confessed to her own infidelity as the cherry on top. The interview resulted in the Queen finally approving Prince Charles's divorce and effectively removing Princess Diana from the royal family. That is all the scandals for today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more juicy royal updates. And I'll catch you next time on The Rich Life.